Okay, welcome. Thank you very much for being here today. My name is Rob. I'm really here today to talk to you about compost and how we think we can improve our soils through applications, which can potentially lead to better yields. There are some very simple methods that we can, actually, we ought to move that on. There we go. There's some very simple methods we can use to put into play to help raise our nutrient holding capacity and yours as well through the use of these composts. I'm hoping towards the end of this speech, that this talk, that you should have a better idea on how to manage your inputs and your applications. So moving on. I know many of you will be facing this dilemma of special issues around compost management and how you get sufficient nutrients into your soils that can remain long enough for the plant to maintain its steady growth. I know somebody earlier on, someone over there was talking about leaching and rainfall. Well, I don't know about you, but last year, 2012, we had some fairly extreme weather up in Doncaster area, and it was not good news. We had a lot of flooding, which obviously affected the crops that we had in the ground early on. Having had a drought for 2 years prior to that, we came into the end of March and into April, where suddenly the heavens opened and that completely changed the picture on the year. The key issue in all of this was that the amount of rainfall brought about huge losses of nitrogen, which is what we saw. And not only that, we had a lot of anaerobic conditions. We had rain, heavy amounts, then a bit of a gap, then more rain, which meant you couldn't get on the land to lift and aerate. You couldn't get on to spray anything on, any foliar applications. Very difficult. And can I tell you that, for every 25 millimetres of rain, or 1 inch in old terms, your soil is depleted of approximately 5 kilos of nitrogen. So you are, once you get into that context and think about that, you're actually very quickly losing nutrients. If you combine this with low sunlight levels, the results on the crops were very poor and can be very poor, and obviously you're not getting the yield that you require, and that's not what any of us want. Okay. What I'd like to do is show you some ways that we can maximise nutrients and their availability. What we've done at Pollybell is to look at all the compost sources and the management of how we make sure the soil is in the best condition possible to produce crops that we require, and more importantly, that the customer's extremely interested in buying. Quality is key. But when applying compost, we have to be very aware of NVZs. These have to be taken into consideration, and they are legal and binding. Tools for looking at this and helping everybody are available out there. RB209, Planet, and Facts Advisors, just to name but a few, really. So we have help. It's key that we don't go over this set limit. I think we're pretty much on a 250 kilos of N per hectare is permitted in any 12-month period. Soil types. At Pollybell we have many soil types spread across the estate, from PT sands to sandbanks within fields, strong soils. We have everything that makes life quite awkward when you're growing a large range of crops, I tell you. Many of you will already be using animal composts and manures to sort of kickstart this whole process off of the growing process that we are wanting. You can hear me there. And what we do at Pollybell, well, recently in the last year or so, we've started a partnership with an organic pig company, and we have a joint venture with a Scottish border sheep farmer, both of which are supplying into our soils some very useful and valuable nutrients. The pigs obviously both are providing fertility, but the pigs are on some of our hungriest land, so very sandy soils. In a roundabout way, we're growing cereals. We supply them with straw and with the grains to eat. They then provide us with the nutrients, and they also do a damn good job on getting rid of twitch. Couch grass, it's a fantastic job. Never seen anything like it. And sheep, very important in our rotation. They're helping to maintain our grass levels during the summer season and over the winter. And also they're very good at clearing waste brassica plants at the end when we've harvested. All very useful for us. Different sources of compost that we are using at Pollybell. We've looked at different sources, all of which in their own way play a major part in supplying the crop needs. 4 of which you got on there: mushroom, green waste, FYM, chicken manure. There are others out there, but for better purpose, this is what we are looking at and what we're trying out. Mushroom compost absolutely will improve soil structures on all soil types. It will help in reducing compaction through promoting more drainage, opening the soils. It's increasing microbial activity. I know we've talked about that today, how important that is. On the other hand, it does require some special management. It can be very high in conductivity, so it's quite salty. And we've found that it affects the root hairs on brassicas and has a detrimental effect. To that end, this is only recently, to that end we are going to look to add this into a different part of the rotation rather than applying it before the crops to be planted. It'll go the previous season, post cereals. Green waste, fabulous soil conditioner for us, improving our fertility, particularly on the sandy soils that we have. When we're asking for screenings, we're looking at around 30 to 40 millimetres, so not very big, but still fairly sticky. A very slow form of release of nutrients. Good source of trace elements. Supports your soil microorganisms, your beneficials. We can, as a business, source this very locally. We have a company probably 4 miles down the road from us, so we can easily transport this in, which is fantastic. It needs to be PAS 100 approved, so it has been through that composting process to reduce the incidence of human pathogens. We have to, as a matter of principle, test all of the composts that come in for this. It's part and parcel of the package that we have to do. And also, more importantly, 4 years prior to our brassica crops, we're just starting this process off. We're actually going to be applying green waste to some of our real rank sand hills, real white sand, where we really struggle to gain a yield or a crop that will give us something back, they really struggle. There's no nutrient holding capacity, and I feel we have to put this back. And that's what we're going to kick off. We're going to kick that process off. So very important. We need to make use of all the land we've got. Farmyard manures. Excellent source of major nutrients. Nitrogen, your K and C, fabulous stuff. Again, will increase soil fertility. Again, it's adding structure to the soil, to all soil types. What we're getting here is a picture that's saying that what we're doing is we are putting in fertility. We are hoping over time to change the soil types, to make it more friable, to give us more an open structure. The plant, you're not anaerobic. You're giving the plant what it requires. For us, it's not immediately locally available. So there is a cost to that. But we feel that it's worth that, just purely from the input. For everybody out there, I mean, I'm sure some people have this mixed farm process going. You have to look at your options to see if you can gather anything locally. But nonetheless, a very useful manure. Chicken manure is a major source of our NP and K for us, particularly nitrogen. It has the most readily available form for us, for our plants. Brassicas, very hungry crop. Again, we're looking at good soil conditioner, adding fertility. And it is available locally in reasonably large amounts. However, with that, you need to check applications and your timings and the specific crops you're growing. Again, we're testing all of these for pathogens, as well as the nutrient value, matched to soil type and the soil analysis as well, bringing that all together in one pot and then making the decision on what we need and what the plant requires. Sorry? Blimey. The Pollybell way. I don't know whether everybody can see that or not. What we're trying to do now we have animals in the system on the estate. We have almost a closed loop. Not quite, but almost. Everything leading to the customer right at the heart of it all. You have the grass clover lay, which is extremely important for us, not only from the point of view that it's going to provide nitrogen, but it's also providing food for the sheep and for the few cows that we do have. They are then providing for the brassicas. The manure is composted and used for those. On the other side, the cereals. The cereals are providing the grains for the animals and straw for the animals. The straw also goes off to produce mushroom compost, and the organic mushrooms are then sold to the customer, and we then get the spent mushroom compost back on the farm. And as I'd said before, we are going to change where we put that in the rotation because we feel it's having an impact on soil root hairs. We've also got legumes. That's all part of what we do. So we're trying to build this complete circle that will give us what we want, give the customer what they want, and hopefully at the end of the day make a bit of money. That's what we're all in it for. And then hopefully the end result should look something a little bit like that, with some nice looking veg. This is what we're all aiming for at the end of the day. As organic growers, we want some fantastic looking veg. We want to try and maximize our yields. We want to increase our quality. And all of this, I believe, we can achieve through the use of compost and the many variances that are available, all assuming that it's managed correctly. Things to think about: testing as I said before, testing all compost for pathogens and nutrients is essential. Your soils need testing. You want to bring that all together so you have one solid plan and you're not breaking these regulations and rules. You have your different sources of compost. And I know there are other sources out there. There are other sources. And there are other forms as well. I didn't mention pellets. You've got pelleted chicken manures. You have pelleted plant extracts. There are a lot of things coming forward at this moment. And so watch this space. Look to the future to see where we're going. And at the end of the day, it's all good agricultural practice, what we're doing. It's all long-term. It's not short-termism. It's what we need. It's what you need as a business. Everybody needs as a business. And hopefully everybody will benefit from that. Thank you very much.